In the last lecture, we discussed consumer behavior. Now we'll look at how we get data or information about the consumer and how they will engage with our product and marketing strategy. With this knowledge, we'll be able to develop a go-to-market strategy, meaning how we will introduce the offering. We'll be able to design promotional campaigns and redesign products or services to match customer needs. So what is marketing research? It is the process of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting information about the ideal customer and overall market to develop a go-to-market strategy. Research might include gathering data from current or prior customers, consumers in the target market, and competitors' marketing efforts. There are two types of data, qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative looks to understand the customer's perspective and answer the why behind their purchasing decisions. This type of research is usually primary research, meaning it is done by the business itself. Research methods include personal interviews, focus groups, online forums, administering questionnaires or surveys that have open-ended questions. These are questions that are more than yes-no questions and allow the interviewee to use their own words. Observations are watching how a customer walks through the store. For example, did they stick to their list or wander around the store? Did a particular display draw more attention? How does the product placement on the shelf affect buying decisions? Lifestyle immersion is gaining an understanding about how customers purchase in relation to their lifestyle. For example, their heritage is heavily focused on taking care of their elderly family, so younger family members do the shopping for them or take them with them to the store. Ethnography involves watching the user use the product in real life. For example, Apple spends a lot of time watching how beta testers use their products and perfecting them before they release them to the general public. The focus on qualitative is the story behind the buying decisions, the why. Quantitative is all about the numbers, data to support the hypothesis. Examples of quantitative research include questionnaires or surveys with closed-ended questions. These are questions that limit the response and there is a right or wrong answer. For example, how many people are in your household? How many people do you buy for? What is the household's income level? This is very similar to statistical data that is obtained from another party. For example, the city of Oceanside provides demographic data on its various neighborhoods. Businesses can also track sales or other data like visits to its website to understand trends. A restaurant may discover Monday through Wednesday nights are really slow and just cover variable costs, so it might be better to close those nights. Or they may discover that Parents' Weekend is crazy busy, so they need extra staff to manage workflow or offer specialty beverages or desserts to honor the occasion and increase sales. Now that we have a better understanding of how marketing research is conducted, let's answer the question, why do it? The first reason is to determine the business or product's viability. You want to know before investing assets into a product whether or not customers will buy it. Research helps you determine the target market. We are looking for the type of customer that definitely has a need for our product. It's needed to understand and reduce business risk. Remember Porter's 5 forces analysis? We need to determine the areas where we have risk exposure so we can lessen the risk, which goes along with identifying current and potential problems in the industry. Business owners don't like to be blindsided and not see the train coming. Market research helps discover growth opportunities, product improvements, new product lines, etc. Lastly, it helps facilitate wise product packaging, promotional decisions like when, where, and how you will advertise, and effective marketing messages. Is your product aligned with the business's position or mission statements? So now that you know the importance of marketing research, how do you get interviews? Don't ask mom because she probably is your #1 fan and will think anything you do is great. So ask people who can give you honest feedback. Go to where potential customers are, like conferences, trade shows, meetups. Ask people you don't know for their opinion and play the "I am a student conducting research" card. Ask advice from people on LinkedIn or other social networks. Follow specific communities related to your research on Reddit. For example, if you want to know about restaurant options in Oceanside, follow the Oceanside community in Reddit and ask the community, "Where's the best place to get Mexican food here?" And then ask, "Why do they feel that way?" If you're trying to gain access to someone, it's important to know who the gatekeepers or admins are. They have a lot of power. And then once you have a couple of contacts, ask for referrals. Specifically say, "Do you know anyone else I should talk to that has information about this and are willing to share?" Now that you have an idea of how to get started, how do you design your research questions? Questions are always focused. Think about what specifically you need to know and make your question specific. Is there a demand for my Thai Lao restaurant? That question is too broad. But is there a demand in Rancho Bernardo, Poway for my Thai Lao restaurant servicing lunch customers? That's more focused. Ask them to describe the problem in their own words. How does the problem affect you? How often or when do you have the problem? How critical is your problem? What solutions have you tried or considered trying? What was the outcome or attempted solutions? How much have you budgeted for a solution? What features are necessary for a successful solution? Who is involved in the decision-making process? What should I have asked but didn't? Now think in terms of my focus question. Is there a demand in RB Poway for my Thai Lao restaurant serving lunch? Through your research, you may discover that there are a lot of large companies with office space in this area whose employees appreciate diverse lunch options. They need something close that isn't fast food, a place where they can also have a business meeting while eating lunch. It has to be fast because they have only 45 minutes start to finish in the restaurant. They want to spend $10 for lunch. There are not a lot of options available. A group of employees will be making the decision. So armed with this knowledge, you think your restaurant will be successful in this area serving the lunch crowd. You also know how to develop a marketing strategy because you understand the target market's needs, so you tailor a message around that. You may also offer delivery services for 3 or more orders to maximize their limited time. And you deliver flyers or coupons to the lobbies of the businesses within 2 miles. Here is an example of knowing who the gatekeepers are. Is there a security guard in the lobby that you should talk to, or the receptionist at the front desk? You need to gain the trust of these gatekeepers so that they share your flyers or coupons and don't just throw them in the trash. Knowing their pain points will prove you have a needed, valuable solution, and you will more likely get results. A couple more points about designing good research questions. Make sure they are simple to understand and unbiased. Don't use technical jargon. Ask basic, easy to understand questions about a customer's experience. Don't ask biased or leading questions. For example, don't ask, "Would you buy this delicious menu item?" The problem is you used the word delicious, which framed the question in such a way that led to a bias. Types of questions. Yes/no questions or multiple choice, but be careful using multiple choice because again it can lead to framing biases. Fill in the blank questions or open-ended questions like, "Tell me the story around your experience." Secondary research is data you get from an outside source. These are similar to the sources we discussed in early lectures about understanding the industry and the area you want to start a business. Quantitative research can also come from your own business. You can look at how your sales change in relation to advertising dollars spent. Analyze your sales data to discover time of day, days of week, or monthly sales trends. You can look at customer conversion rates. This is how many visitors to your website actually make a purchase. You can look at clicks on your website and how much time is spent on each page. Of course, there are Yelp reviews. These quantitative examples are excellent ways to measure and evaluate progress towards goals and objectives we discussed in the business strategy lecture and how all these pieces tie together. After you gather all the data and insights, the next step is analyzing and interpreting the data. You're looking for trends to understand the whys behind the numbers, and that's where your qualitative data becomes useful. Then you're building what-if models to manipulate the data. For example, if I'm seeing a 15% growth rate in coupons used by customers in a specific area, what would happen to sales if I increased advertising in that specific area by 10%? You build these what-if analyses and implement the business decision. Then you evaluate the results to see if your model is predictive and can be relied upon. If not, then go back and revise either your interpretation or the research questions in general. Think of it like lab testing. There is a scientific hypothesis that you make. You design tests to evaluate the validity of your hypothesis. You interpret test results, take corrective action if needed to gain the desired results. This process continually repeats itself to keep a growth mindset and continue product or service improvements or a disruptive innovation mindset. Hopefully, this lecture gives you some practical ideas on how to conduct marketing research and how it is used to support business strategy.